What's going on, fragrance family? It's your man Gator, better known as the Novice Nose out here in these fragrance streets. And man, it has been a long day, man, having to deal with work and then having to fight that traffic, that 2-hour commute to get to the house, man. But I had to record this video for y'all, man, tonight, hopefully to drop it tomorrow, because I wanted to talk about my scent of the day today. I was waiting to wear this particular fragrance a few times here to get a real true first impression of it. I was super excited about this drop because it was inspired by, or purportedly inspired by, one of the most maligned fragrances in the fragrance community this year, man. Not because it didn't smell good, because it did, it smelled great, but because, well, it came in at this weirdly high price point. Now, the fragrance that I wore today is this one right here. This is the newest one from the house of Riiffs, or one of the newest ones. This is Riiffs Season Drift. Let's see if I can get the bottle straight. There it is. Now, and this is Seasons that's written on the side here. Now, when I first saw this bottle online, man, I was like, that is the most play school, kitty construction looking bottle, man, that I have ever seen. Like, I can't take the fragrance seriously here with that bottle. But as I got it in hand, I mean, it's got a little bit of heft to it, man. It's not that bad. I mean, the top is like ceramic bullshit. It's super, super light. But the part I am like really excited about with this fragrance, as far as the bottle goes, is the atomizer. Check this out. Did you see that? Did you see the coverage on this atomizer, man? Riiffs has some really, really good atomizers though. For example, this one right here, and I actually have a review already recorded on this one. This is Riiffs Privé Essence Bleu. This is an interpretation of the Sauvage Elixir DNA, and spoiler alert, this is one of the best interpretations of that DNA that's out there right now. But I digress. Y'all see this video coming up soon. But that one has a great atomizer too. So Riiffs does their things with the atomizer. Shout out to them. So if you haven't guessed it, or if you've been living under a rock, this fragrance has been reportedly inspired by Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif. Now, L'Exclusif, when it dropped, people were anticipating that for a long time, man. People have been waiting on a new Bleu de Chanel. They dropped that one. It is, in my opinion, the best Bleu de Chanel drop to date. Right? Full stop. I love the way that it imparts the leather in there, that ambery nature that it has. It only kind of keeps that signature Bleu de Chanel DNA, you know, in the opening and into the mids here. But as it gets into that deep dry down, it goes leathery, ambery, just a gorgeous resinous fragrance. I am a fan of it. I've gone through 2 5-milliliter decants of it. It's time to buy a full bottle, no matter what the price point is. I am a fan of that fragrance. So when I first heard about this one, I was like, man, let me see what this one is about, right? So before I get into anything else about this, let me get into the notes on this thing. So top notes are going to be lemon zest, pink pepper, and grapefruit. Middle notes are going to be cedar, clary sage, and ginger. And then the base notes are going to be labdanum, sandalwood, resin, and amber. That labdanum is what is that superstar addition to the L'Exclusif that really kind of defines the character of Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif. So you put that labdanum and that amber in here, you're thinking that it's going around the right track to getting to that particular style of fragrance here. So this is not going to be a one-to-one of Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif, and I'm not talking about in the vein of, well, no inspiration is one-to-one. You're looking at probably about 60% as far as that goes, and I'll get into why here now. So when you first, and I'm gonna actually spray a little bit more on, man, just to get it in the air. I love the way this smells in the air. So when this thing first hits you, you are greeted with kind of an overdose of mint. Now, it does have that classic Bleu de Chanel style of DNA here, that beautifully minty, kind of musky, kind of woody, grapefruity, citrusy kind of blend that's kind of signatured to Bleu de Chanel. It has that, but a little heavy-handed on the mint. Actually, a lot heavy-handed on the mint when it first kind of, opens up. Now, I've had this probably about 2-3 weeks now. That may change over some maturation time, but as of right now, the mint is a little bit heavier than it is in the, standard, No, and that's not a bad thing. What it does is it kind of lifts this fragrance up a little bit, gives it a fresher vibe here than what it would have in that L'Exclusif. To me, this is more akin to the BDC Eau de Parfum, that EDP. It gives me more of the EDP vibes, maybe even a slight bit of the Eau de Toilette, but for the most part, this is basically, to me, more inspired by the EDP. It's got a little bit of that smokiness in there, but at the same time, you're getting that mint, you're getting that freshness, and you're getting that not quite shower jelly, but it's got that definite blue signature with a little bit of spiciness going on here. So you're getting that spiciness from this thing. This is a very uplifting and bright scent profile. This is a diversion from anything that they're talking about when they compare this to L'Exclusif. L'Exclusif, while it has that BDC profile, that BDC DNA at its heart, it is a lot darker, more rich, more deep fragrance than what they're going for right here. And this is why I say this is more aligned to, I think, the EDP than this is the Parfum or the L'Exclusif. Now, as this thing kind of progresses a little bit here, like I said, you're getting that mint, you're getting a really fresh, really uplifting kind of fragrance here. You're getting that backbone of slight citricness in the background, but like I said, a little bit of an overdose of mint. It is a little spicy, so you are getting a little bit of a kind of an effervescence here. Not really like a carbonated vibe, but a little bit of an effervescence, enough to tickle the nose a little bit here. So as this thing kind of goes into the dry down, you do start to get some of the labdanum start to kick in here. Now, this is not that same deep, rich labdanum vibe that you're getting from, or labdanum accord vibe that you're getting from L'Exclusif. This is a labdanum to have a labdanum. This is a labdanum that has that definite floral and ambery touch, but it's not going to be that same richness, that same depth, dare I say, the same quality that you would have in that original L'Exclusif. As a matter of fact, it doesn't really even try to imitate that quality. It's kind of like it goes its own way. I think they intentionally kind of went with a less deep, less ambery labdanum here to allow this thing to be a little bit more light and a little bit more nimble. So this thing moves different than L'Exclusif does. I mean, completely different. So you've got the brightness, you've got the uplifting vibe from this one here, and you've got the labdanum that's actually adding a little bit of character to this thing. It's not darkening it up, but it is giving it a little bit of depth. It is giving it a little bit, like I said, a little bit of character as it goes into the dry down. It starts to get a little bit, as it gets into that 30-minute to 45-minute mark, it gets a little bit closer to what you get from L'Exclusif. Of course, L'Exclusif is going to be a lot deeper, and I'm talking about noticeably, indistinguishably deeper than what this is. But I think that was intentional. This fragrance, in my opinion, was made to be a more versatile, more nimble, more everyday use style of that, or inspiration of that Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif, because like I said, it's a lot lighter, it's a lot brighter. The mint actually keeps that thing fresh. The other thing with this one is that the mint in here kind of lasts throughout the life. Now, you notice that there's no mint in that note breakdown, but it is in here. But it definitely kind of goes throughout the life of the fragrance here. It kind of dissipates as it goes a little bit further into the dry down, but it's still there. It is definitely still present. The other diversion from what this is and the L'Exclusif is L'Exclusif, as it opens up and it has that Bleu de Chanel DNA initially here. After a couple of hours, you're really kind of transported into more of a leathery, ambery fragrance than you would have as like just a regular Bleu de Chanel. It is a deep, beautifully done fragrance. It is CEO while, you know, BDC Parfum is marketing manager, right? So it's interesting because while that fragrance goes into that labdanum, you know, leathery floral kind of vibe, this one does not do that. This one goes into more of a woody, fresh vibe. So there's a definite departure between what that fragrance is and what this fragrance is. Like I said, again, more akin to the eau de parfum with a little bit of labdanum added to it, basically. This is more BDC eau de parfum with labdanum added. That's basically what this is. Now, that woodiness that it has in there just adds to the versatility, adds to the freshness, makes this a lot easier wear, more of an everyday grab and go kind of fragrance that you can also use if you decide to wear a suit and tie, that you can also use if you decide to go out on a date, that you can also use whether it's hot or whether it's cold. That labdanum does add just enough depth to this to where it can be used in cooler weather. This is an uber bright, uber fresh kind of fragrance here that is definitely a departure from L'Exclusif. Definitely that. But I think it was intentional when it comes to this fragrance. Now, like I said, you've got mintiness, you've got woodiness that's gonna last all throughout the life of the fragrance here. The labdanum, while it's still there and you still get kind of a little bit of a smoke, it's not even really as much of a leathery vibe that you're getting in here as it gets into the late dry down, as much as it is kind of a smoky kind of vibe from the labdanum that kind of sticks as it goes into the farther dry down, but it's just slightly smoky. So it stays fresh throughout the life. Speaking of the life, you're looking at, on this fragrance here, that this is another big departure from what L'Exclusif is. L'Exclusif, I'm getting 10 to almost 12 hours on skin with that fragrance. With this one, I get somewhere in the range of about 8, but it is a skin scent for that last couple of hours here. Now, when you first spray it on, it projects at least an arm length, if not more here, for that first like 30 minutes to an hour or so. Dare I say, maybe even going into the hour and a half mark. But after that point, it really drops off to where it's maybe about 3 to 6 inches off of skin. And then it really just kind of shrinks into a skin scent after that 4th, 5th hour. But it does have a really nice sillage. The sillage kind of goes for about 5 to 6 hours on this thing. And you know, I was having people actually comment on this even at that hour 7, and I guess I was kind of moving around a little bit, so it was wafting. So that is definitely a bonus for this fragrance here. I can't say that this is going to be the best interpretation of that L'Exclusif DNA. Like I said, this is basically Bleu de Chanel, Eau de Toilette, Bleu de Chanel, EDP, and you just added a little bit of a smoky labdanum kind of vibe, or a labdanum, ambery labdanum kind of vibe to it. But I think that the versatility on this one is way more than what it is on L'Exclusif. L'Exclusif, like I said, is more of a staunch, kind of stoic kind of fragrance. This is more of an everyday, nimble, I'm moving around kind of fragrance here. And I think that this one is definitely, it's a crowd pleaser too. I've gotten quite a few compliments on it already. This fragrance is really nice. I call it almost like a game changer here. And the reason why I say that is because this is just the first in the line. I think I've heard French Avenue is gonna be doing one, or I'm not exactly sure if it's French Avenue, but I've heard some of the other houses are gonna be doing their interpretations of that L'Exclusif DNA, and I'm all for it. I want to experience to see how they interpret the fragrance. But as for this one, I feel like this was what an inspired fragrance should be. Not an exact clone, but they took the good parts, the parts that are different, and they just kind of rolled it into something and added their own little touches here to make this its own great fragrance. Like, I'm gonna get L'Exclusif, but this one's gonna have wear too, right? If you are like, okay, I'm gonna get this instead of L'Exclusif because this is gonna smell just like Exclusif, you're gonna be sadly disappointed. This is not that. It's 60% at best, right? But if you're looking for a fragrance that's gonna be light, it's gonna be versatile, it's gonna be fresh, but it's gonna put you in the mindset, like really accurate mindset of a Bleu de Chanel style of fragrance here, which is the classic blue fragrance scent, go with this, man. This is an amazing fragrance for that kind of style, man. Have you put your nose on this, man? Let me know in the comments, guys. And as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, share this video with somebody you know that loves fragrances, guys. And as always, no matter what you're doing, however you're doing it, make sure you make today the best day ever on purpose. Peace out.